Boris Johnson must go on trial for lying and misleading in Brexit campaign, judge orders.
Here's a summary of the article.
Boris Johnson is to go on trial for allegedly lying and misleading the British public about the consequences of Brexit. Mr. Johnson denies misconduct in a public office, which carries a maximum sentence of life imprisonment. Lewis Power QC, a lawyer representing Mr. Ball, told the court that Mr. Johnson had deliberately misled the public during the EU referendum campaign, and then repeated the statement during the 2017 general election. At the time of the alleged offences, Mr. Johnson held public office as the Mayor of London and MP for Uxbridge for South Ruislip. The conduct of the proposed defendant Boris Johnson was both irresponsible and dishonest. It was, we say, criminal. The prosecution is not about Brexit. The only relevance to Brexit is that it was during the Brexit referendum Mr. Johnson chose to mislead the public. No allegation is made, nor could any be made, that Mr. Johnson adopted or commended that figure for any purpose other than in the course of a contested political campaign, he added.
This post received a score of 68,312, with an upvote ratio of 88%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Wow, you can go to court for misconduct in a public office. I say this as 2 Australian politicians bought imaginary water from a company in the Cayman Islands to the cost of $80 million to the taxpayer. They got re-elected.
It's just invisible because it's really clear. They were bringing it here on a boat, but the front fell off. It got all wet, so we had to leave it behind.
Why did it get wet?
Water got all over it.
But water isn't wet, is it?
I mean, pretty much every water molecule is covered in water, so that meets the definition of wet, right?
How hard does the UK come down on politicians for lying? Australian here, ours just get a slap on the wrist. Edit, overall, sounds like we're all in the same boat. They keep getting voted back in and there is a general feeling of helplessness to the point where we don't care when we're blatantly lied to. I agree, maybe Australia should bring back the boot.
Here in Australia it's illegal for all ads to be misleading or have false info except political ads.
Politician creating laws that exempt themselves? Unheard of.
Norwegian Parliament just recently, I think in 2016, made it a law that politicians are exempt for responsibility of what they say, i.e., they can legally lie and promise anything and not be held liable for it. Bad omen if you ask me, but that's just like my opinion. I think we're witnessing the downfall of a functioning welfare state as politicians collude with lobbyists to slowly set the foundations that will allow private interests to drain the well.
What's the sentence going to be, a thorough milkshaking?
No boys will be brought to the yard, anymore.
And they will be like, this isn't better than other options.
Damn right.
They could teach you, but they'd have to charge.
Go to DeVry, it's just too large. When was the last time in the English-speaking world any politician got punished through the justice system for wrongdoing? Victorian era? I have serious doubts here.
Apart from Chris Hoon and Fiona Onasanya, Phil Wallace was removed from office in Oldham East and Saddleworth for publishing lies in his campaign leaflets, although I believe he didn't know about it.
Also, the Queen's lad dissolved the Aussie government one time for failing to make a budget.
Get fucked, Boris Johnson. I'm not saying that in relation to this, mind you. It's a more general statement that always applies regardless of context.
I'd be surprised if he suffered any real penalties for this. I hope I'm wrong. I'd settle for his leadership dream to be ruthlessly crushed under the hard heel of reality.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.